Stephen Colbert has it right. No need for facts. Don't study what other people say they know. Like Mr. Colbert, I go with my gut, my feelings. And when it comes to analyzing the Baltimore Grand Prix, I didn't read what all the others wrote about the race. It's my feelings that tell me how good and bad this first ever street race really was. My gut, on the other hand, is still suffering from the Baltimore crab cakes that street vendor sold me. Hey, Paco, soft-shell crab is supposed to be a Maryland delicacy, not your name for the rotting in the sun, 90-degree temperature, 4-day-old crustacean you sold me. Excuse me while I collect my thoughts for today's shakedown and evacuate my bowels. And hopefully to you, they won't feel like one and the same.
Next generation of performance is here. Royal Purple's new high-performance street motor oil, HPS. Fortified with zinc phosphorus anti-wear protection, HPS exceeds the demands of high-performance and modified engines. Magnified, HPS improves metal surfaces for longer engine life. HPS's high film strength frees up more power, reduces heat and wear, plus provides greater protection. The next generation of performance is here with HPS from Royal Purple, the performance oil that outperforms.
I arrived in Baltimore on Thursday to see the build-up for the race, and it all started to feel so familiar. A street circuit, a harbor side, a city working to improve its image and economic condition. Nothing a $6.5 million government investment in an auto race couldn't fix. You could almost feel the pitch to the city officials was as simple as taking Chris Pook and Dan Gurney's 36-year-old Long Beach Grand Prix proposal, crossing out the Long Beach name, writing in Baltimore with a picture of a crab versus a California surfer girl. Last page of the presentation would be before and after pictures of the city of Long Beach with the word, "See?" Let me say right up front, this first Baltimore event was big and successful, and it's the Royal Purple Different is Best Racer Race of the Week. IndyCar and American Le Mans were over the top with the crowd size and media pull, and for the most part, the event, in the eyes of the public, was a fun-packed success too. Feel goods all around. The crowd felt big each day, 100,000 strong over the 3 days. And all paid attendance, not the free Friday scrubs like at Long Beach. Fans were into the racing, even though they may not have fully understood what they were enjoying. The racetrack video boards were showing the wrong standings during the entire ALMS race. But Baltimoreans are sports fans and a hearty party crowd, so it was all good to them. They're also a pissed-off, hard Scrabble populace. I spoke with business owners and locals. Yes, they distrust this appointed, not elected mayor. Yes, the traffic delays sucked. Cutting down 70 trees was not good. Citizens are paying way too many taxes, and shop owners gripe the city never helps them. But this event gets big bucks. On Friday, the racing was delayed 5 hours as the track was not completed on time. The workers putting up barriers and paving railroad tracks had been pushed for 48 straight hours. Planning shortcomings by the race promoter, Baltimore Racing Development, had finally started to show damage. Some walkers walked off the job at 4 a.m. in disgust. ALMS workers stepped onto the forklifts and into the streets to finish the track. The racing world sensed trouble months before, and quietly, IndyCar and ALMS hired racing experts to fill in the logistics gaps and the promoter's inexperience. No one was going to let this race fail, but it was costing the promoter big dollars via Gentile pricing on last-minute services needed to make the race happen. And the Baltimore fans, they proved to me to be the nicest, most patient, pissed-off people I have ever met. Through all their East Coast bad attitude, you could feel they wanted this race to be a success and to be good for their hometown. I wish the racers were more like Baltimore natives. Before cars had even hit the track, way too many drivers and team owners were going negative about the track. And while there are places to improve, and the course may have been designed to look better on TV versus behind the wheel, the whining was unneeded and unproductive. But we got some sound bites as to how the track actually needs to be driven and raced.
All the parts that are smooth, flows well, there's good rhythm to the corners, and actually good grip. And then when the bumpy parts is the parts with the concrete blocks, so it's not tarmac and the grip is quite a bit lower there. So into turn 1 and accelerating through turn 2, braking into 3, and then that part into 4 as well a little bit. With the concrete blocks makes it really slippery, but then you get into another part of the track where there's a lot of grip, so that could probably break your rhythm a little bit. That some places you got to really back up your braking,
yep.
And other places you can charge.
Here for sure, when you have a surface that doesn't have a lot of grip, a lot of times you got to turn in earlier. And when you have a surface that does have a lot of grip, you can be more aggressive on the turn in and turn a little later and put the power down harder. So It definitely changed the lines. The most slippery part of the racetrack is on the turn 1, 3, 4 area. That is the areas where it's a concrete, it's not taking rubber real well, or it wasn't before IndyCar, and so it's just real sketchy. So
Now, all of us that care about racing know how the races went. And for the rest of you, let me say this. The track did create action, but not a lot of places to pass. And the Saturday ALMS race proved this out. So listen to these sound bites from the P2 Corvette and P3 BMW racers about attacking traffic, each other, and getting the lead. Remember, there was a big turn 1 contact that, quite frankly, ended any chance of winning for Corvette and BMW. So you tell me, self-fulfilling prophecy, immaturity, red mist, or just racing, Leo?
It looks like the chicane, to me, took away a little bit of the passing opportunity on the front straightaway.
Yes.
It looks like passing is going to be either creative or what's going to happen here?
For me, there are 2 obvious passing spots, and they'll be into turn 1 and into turn 3, the hairpin.
Yes.
Everywhere else will pretty much take a mistake from somebody. But even in the 2 obvious places, I would say that if the guy being passed won't have it, there's going to be contact.
And then what?
On a street circuit with nothing but concrete, it's bad for both.
I feel the racing could have gone better, and the event dodged huge, life-ending disasters with the Tony Kanaan crash with the corner worker standing on the track and the safety truck driving into the IndyCar race start. But I also feel the inaugural Baltimore GP was too good not to let happen next year. The only real danger to this race will be financial, cash flow really. The promoter did a great job selling tickets, 20,000 tickets to local company Under Armour, for example. But the promoter may have blown their bank balances making year 1 happen, and year 2 will come down to either more government begging, bigger corporate sponsors, or investment from the racing series themselves. Now, I would be shocked if IndyCar and ALMS would do that. But I'd be more shocked if somehow, someway the funds are not found and we are not all heading back to Baltimore Labor Day weekend 2012. I sat in on the ALMS drivers meeting, and it was an incredible show of interplay between race control, drivers, team owners. Everyone agreed the track was a challenge to respect and sanity must prevail to make the first Baltimore race look great. Then they dropped the green flag and the Maryland crab-colored red mist took over.